How does your product use or challenge conventions, and how does it represent social groups or issues? Hello, welcome to my creative critical reflection. Since we started with the project, my first idea was to use heist and crime, as I feel intrigued by this genre. I am also inspired by the complex methodology and the cleverness of some characters. So, when deciding on the genre, I researched some films that cover it, such as Ocean's 11, Baby Driver, and Six Underground. Through this research, the same code and conventions with minimal exception keep reappearing, such as the high-speed cuts, editing, and themes such as getaways, and the opening including high-action disruptions. And it was my assessment that these are the conventions that attract young male audiences, which are traditional target audience of these movies. This is why I stuck to these conventions. So in my movie opening I used, for example, the mask to create enigma, the high speed of actions of the opening scene to emphasize the velocity with which thieves execute robberies, the high tempo music I used enhanced the feeling of tension and thrill. The camera shots also follow code and conventions, as during the getaway I used low-angle shots to give the impression of power and strength to my characters, as this is what my audiences want to see and what will engage them to keep watching the film. The social groups and issues my film represents are predominantly young men attracted to a life of crime, but the stereotypical crime as criminals are often people who just became bankrupt or poor people. But these criminals I used in my film are rich people who commit crimes just to get more power and wealth due to their rebellious personalities, and this shows how they will not care about breaking the laws to get what they want, even though it's illegal. They will try to do anything to keep increasing their power and wealth. So also, as the movie progresses, other social themes will be explored, such as the effects of poverty and gang culture. How does your product engage with audiences, and how would it be distributed as a real media text? My product was created with the target audience of young and middle-aged males and females, as my film is distributed through social media and both men and women are consumers of social media apps, so both are being targeted. Using the apps such as Instagram and YouTube, I advertised my film and introduced it to my target audience. I also created my social media account for my production company, Fingers Films, where I used hashtags, as the use of hashtags helped me market the film, as hashtags work that if you search a hashtag, all the news about that hashtag will appear. I also created my own production company, created a sense of branding to my film by creating merchandise such as hoodies and t-shirts. Finally, I created my own movie poster to attract them, as young people are more captivated with visuals than with writing, which means they will feel more attracted to my film. I also researched ways niche films production companies produce and promote their films, and used some of that styles when producing my coursework. If my film was distributed as a real media text, I would use different distributing channels. I will distribute it as a niche movie, so it will not market out in the cinema, and it will start up selling as a DVD and Blu-ray, so audiences which watch it at home. I will also distribute it through streaming sites such as Amazon Prime Video or HBO. How did your product skills develop through your project? Throughout this year, I've been improving my production skills, as this subject was new for me and I had never done it before, so I can say I was a beginner in all these areas. As months passed on, I got more confident each time. This was due to my preliminary tasks. I did 2 of them with my classmates, which were the Batman vs Superman suite and the continuity project, which was my icebreaker task to improve my skills. This helped me develop my skills in terms of camera work, editing, and costume designing. Also, the first term was my planning term, where I needed to plan my opening scene before I could film it. This was my pre-production task, which consisted in doing a statement of intentions, audience profile, primary and secondary researches, and other research and planning. This all helped me with my final project, as all this gave me guidelines to be organized in my filming. Also, this helped me in my schedule, as I knew what I needed for every of my filming days. Also, this helped me to know what time of the day I should film to get the most suitable lighting and the one that will stick with the common codes and conventions of the genre. After all this, the next term was my execution term, where I filmed all my footage and started to edit all my film. All this has shown me that for next year I should improve a certain amount of this, such as my time management and the selection of actors. These two factors have been a problem for me, and I'm looking forward to changing them in the future. But overall, my production skills have improved and I have developed knowledge and better understanding of what is needed to produce a media text. How did you integrate technologies, software, hardware, and online in this project? At the start of my coursework, I had limited knowledge of the requirements that were needed to create and promote my filming opening. I slowly began researching tools I could use to distinguish my blog from the rest and create animations for my opening as well as my posts. I used a variety of technologies in my project. The most important platform I used was Blogger, as I kept updating my blog every week with new content about the film that could be both research or planning. Then another program I got familiar with was Adobe Premiere Pro, as it was my main editing program. This was due to my preliminary tasks that we were given. This helped me the most to understand the program mechanisms and features, and this also helped me with improving my editing skills. All this was done to help me with my final project, as when editing time came, I was fully prepared to edit my final project. Other programs I used were YouTube, as it was my main social media app where I researched and uploaded all my videos, and Instagram, as I kept updating my footage. During this project, I also used websites such as Prezi to create certain presentations and give more creative and engaging aesthetics to my blog. Giphy also helped me with this, as this is a website where you can get GIFs to give animation to all the covers of my blog. Then, to give my blog a sense of branding, I make it look as a real media product. I use Wix. This is a website I used to create my own logo and a favicon to the blogspot. Finally, the hardware I used for my final project was a tripod, a Canon EOS 60D, a stabilizer, and a microphone to give my project the best possible quality.